Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you may already know, my name is Eddie Campan. This is my news associate, Alex Zuniga.
Good evening.
Reporting to you from ATV News. The war in Vietnam has been a huge impact on the United States. The purpose of this war is stopping the North from taking over the South Vietnam, because then communism will be spread all over Asia. This belief was called the domino theory, that if one part of Asia turned into communism, the rest would too. Sadly to say, the outcomes of the Vietnam War was that South Vietnam is now under communist rule. During this war, many different experimental weapons were used for war. For example, one of the most dangerous objects that was used was jellied gasoline mixture that was dropped on the trees to be more clear. This jellied gasoline burned the trees and also hit many innocent civilians. And once they were in physical contact with the jellied gasoline, there would be nothing they can do to stop it from burning through their skin. There were many different weapons that were used in this war. This caused the death of more Vietnamese civilians than Vietnamese soldiers. This made Dubs angry and gave them more hatred toward the war effort. What do you know about the Vietnam War, Alex?
Thank you, Eddie. In my opinion, the Vietnam War does not effectively accomplish the goals of the containment policy. I think this because the U.S. was unable to contain communists from spreading from the north to the south. By letting it spread, we are sorry to say, but we have lost the Vietnam War. On the other hand, to argue whether or not Vietnam should be counted as a victory for the U.S. in the Cold War struggle, I think it should not be counted as a victory. For such, it just showed how desperate and weak the U.S. is. It showed that U.S. are bullies and couldn't even kill the troops, but killed many innocent civilians in the Vietnam. The media that changed the style of reporting, they went from reporting directly of the press release and happy story to investigate reporting and writing cold-hearted and truthful stories.
Well, there you got it, people. Now we will be going into further detail about the Latin American policy with my correspondent, Elmer Coronel. How are you, Elmer?
Good evening. My name is Elmer Coronel. I am here with Jesus Alonso.
Good evening.
And I would like to ask him a few questions. Who was Jacobo Arbenz?
As we can all see, Jacobo Arbenz was the president of Guatemala. He was elected president in 1950s and served a term until 1954.
Can you talk to us about his life before being president?
He was a military officer and a politician who served in defense ministers of Guatemala.
Okay. Can you talk to us about the current president, President Carlos Castillo Armas?
Carlos Castillo Armas overthrew administration of Guatemala of President Jacob Arbenz in late June of 1954.
Now, can you talk to us a little bit about PV Success?
But the Operation PV Success is a paramilitary invasion by an anti-communist army of liberation in the early 1950s.
As we know, in 1970, Chile elected Salvador Allende, a socialist, as president. Though fearing that Allende was trying to turn Chile into another Cuba and Soviet Union, Nixon attempted to topple their government. Nixon cut off all aid to Chile and provided funds to people who opposed the Chilean military. I'm Elmer Coronel. This will be all for now. Now, back to you, Mr. G at ARB.